Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of the Wagon Wheel of Wisdom. Behind me as usual, the magnificent Wagon Wheel, and I am Kevin, your host. Hopefully I still got a little wisdom up here for you. Today's topic, acceptance, surrender, and forgiving yourself. I know I've touched on these topics a few times before, but after a rather, exciting day yesterday, and I'll talk about that in a little bit as to why I find the surrender part to have a lot more value. So yesterday morning, I got to meet with somebody that I met with, I want to say about 2 or 3 years ago, and she happens to be an astrologer. She's a little bit older than me, not that that matters, but an incredibly warm and beautiful woman, just in my very humble opinion. Beautiful in many ways, and I believe the feminine energy is, and I feel it coursing through my veins. There's a sense of beauty about it, and I recognize that in her. I feel incredibly comfortable around her, and I've only been around her, I think, two times, and the first time we did an astrology reading was via Zoom. So this time we got to meet in person, and I was absolutely blown away by this. And let me be clear about this. I had said in previous episodes to stop watching tarot, and I do believe that you should stop doing that because I think it puts your mind in a place where it doesn't belong. I think, alludes to false hope, getting you spun up and looping about things that aren't necessarily true. And I have to be honest, because I used to watch those things, but when I would look and see how many views, it's like, wait a minute, these readings are for everybody? It's like, come on. And I know that they say that if it doesn't resonate, turn it off, but I would certainly, I would make it resonate with me, and it would cause me more pain than good. So I suggest staying away from that. How this is different is this isn't a reading about when my ex is going to show up back in my life. In fact, it's not even close. This reading was all about, past things, present things, and potential things that might be popping up in the future. But more importantly, it really helped validate that I am exactly in a situation right now. And it didn't allude to what kind of situation. It just meant that this situation that I was coming into was supposed to happen via the stars. And she would talk about it, and I would absolutely validate what was going on in the moment leading up. And there was another very specific and neat thing. So the number 33 has been popping up a lot. And 33, I believe, was Christ at the age that he passed away. And I've also stumbled across a few YouTube videos talking about 33 years of suffering. If I take my age minus 33 years, I go back to when I was 13, and we went back in time on the star chart, and there was an event that happened when I was in 8th grade. A class bully of mine, and I went to school, and I went to school in a small town. I graduated with 42 kids. So, if you did anything wrong, everybody knew about it in the town. It was ridiculous. But a class bully who didn't like me very much, and I smoked him in the back of the head with a soft softball. It wasn't a hard one when we were in gym class, just because I couldn't. The guy was such a jerk. He had started a rumor that I got an erection in the shower, and that happened 33 years earlier, and it absolutely decimated me from a self-esteem standpoint because I lost friends. People wouldn't talk to me. I had to sit alone in the lunchroom kind of stuff. It was the real deal, and it followed me all the way through high school. I couldn't travel from town to town without this being brought up. And I was an athlete, played sports, so it followed me, and it sucked. But that was 33 years ago, and the time frame that it happened was an event in the star chart. And she said it before I even said it, so it was pretty cool to see this. Now, why is all of this important? Well, Jesus, Kevin, you don't know when you're going to meet your special someone again? No, that's not what this was about. This was about validating something that I needed to hear. And it was about validating me being in this moment of something that has been in the stars just specifically for me, for this period in time. I got to surrender all of this wondering why the hell this is happening to me in that moment. It just faded away. It was such a relief to know that this event was going to go down in some way, shape, or form Would I want an easier time? You know what? To tell you the truth, no. I'm actually enjoying the struggle, and as I said, this is a struggle unlike any other. But to sit there and listen to her go through as much as she did, and she did her homework. I had 5 pages worth. Hang on one sec, I'm gonna go grab those. All right, so these are her notes. Very thorough, very thorough. And her name is Michele. She lives close to where I do, and I had asked her permission to use her name. She is working on a website, and when it is complete, she said she would offer me another free reading. Well, I was kind of thinking about that. It's like, wait a second, I kind of know what's in the cards at this point in time. So I think what I'm going to do is come up with maybe a little contest for my viewers and just see if Michele follows suit with putting up the website and getting that going, and then maybe choose a winner somehow, some way, in some contest in the future. And I'm going to put her website down in the link once she comes up with it, and you guys can give it a shot if you wish. Like I said, it was incredibly validating. It put my mind at such ease just to know that, you know, this event was coming in some way, shape, or form. And maybe me just telling you that is going to let you guys know this too, because from a spiritual perspective, you know, we are believing in this, that the stars are aligned. It kind of it allows us to drop, you know, the woe is me, the world is against me, because that's that looping negative energy. And if there's one thing that we need to really concentrate on, you guys, it's this entire idea that it's about them. It isn't. It's about us. This giant wall standing in front of us, and each thing that we do to help us along our journey is removing a brick, and on the other side of that wall is our real self. And this helped remove a few bricks. It was really a cool thing. The next part I'd like to talk about is a book that I had read months back, and this is going to kind of take a left-hand turn, but I'll connect the dots here a little bit. So I read a book called Extreme Ownership, written by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. Now, those two individuals are former Navy SEALs. Navy SEALs arguably go through the single toughest training on the planet to become Navy SEALs. The entire 6-month program, and that's using a very light word, we'll call it probably torture in some aspects. The 6-month program that they have to go through, there is one goal in mind the entire time. That is to get you to quit. It's a mental game. It's a game. I mean, there's physical exertion, don't get me wrong. There's a physicality point to it where it feels like it's going to break you down, but the number one thing is a mental game to get you to say, I've had enough and I'm done. I think that echoes pretty true with this. And the element about the book Extreme Ownership, it's about owning your actions and doing something about it and moving forward. So how I'm tying that in is accepting your situation, surrendering to it, and forgiving yourself, but not giving up during the process. And that's the important part, because there are times, you guys, when I've just wanted to say, fuck it. Seriously, like there are still very intense times, but the frequency of the intensity was just bam, 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 just constantly banging against my head. And I can't imagine it's any different for anybody else. I've heard some of the stories that people have told in the comments section, but the thing is, you guys, don't quit. Don't give up on yourself. It is a mental game that you're playing up there. So please, 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 please don't quit. And the other aspect of that book, Extreme Ownership, that I would like to talk about that is very valuable, I feel, in this instance, is in the Navy SEAL community, it is not about the individual. They are not about glory. They're not about, it's about me, me, me. It's not like watching an NFL game, you know, where Justin Jefferson's out breaking out the gritty after a touchdown. It isn't like that. It's a humble community of guys that work together as a team. How I'm tying this in is something that I think we really need to look at. Us doing this and us moving forward in our life is not about them, and it isn't about you or me, okay? We are one soul. What is good for you is good for them. This is a team game here, you guys. This isn't about individual notoriety or anything like that. What you heal within you helps heal within them. I firmly believe that. I have things that I need to forgive with myself, most notably. And after getting to know my ex, there are major things in her life too where you could just listen to the non-forgiveness, like complaining about her ex-husband still after 6-7 years of being divorced parents and things like that, things I've done too and things I'm guilty of. But I really believe that as a team, because we are one soul, you guys, we're just divided at this point in time. I hope we come together, I guess, but this whole surrendering aspect to it is surrendering to the aspect that might not happen, but I'm going to work my ass off even if she's not in my life, because I know it's going to benefit her. That's the level of empathy and how much I care about working on myself, because I know it's going to help her out too. And if it means that we're not together, then I guess we're not together. But at the end of the day, I'm removing these bricks to discover me on the other side of that wall. I will be great to no matter who I'm with. I will be great to them. I will be a far better person. I hope like hell it's her, but at the same time, I have to be realistic with things. You know, people perish sometimes. We lose people. It's the way it is. It would be devastating, but again, it doesn't stop. So the whole point is I'm not going to quit, and it's about the team. That's the point of me bringing up the Navy SEAL community and that book, Extreme Ownership, and how it's translated into my mind. My male brain is, I'm sorry, but a male divine feminine here with some very masculine traits, but that's literally how I'm connecting the dots. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about, and somebody brought this up in the comment section, and that's the push-pull energy and them being unsure as to, you know, if it's still happening. I'm not necessarily sure if I know the exact answer to it, but I'm going to roll the dice and guess at this a little bit. I really think the push and pull energy is when you're thinking in the past, when it comes to like anger, resentment, just negative thoughts, or you are trying to make something happen in the future that you have no control over, like call it like I know an ambush is a terrible word, but like you're going to show up somewhere where you think they might be. I believe that is the type of push-pull energy. If you're present but still thinking, you know, I still have a lot of thoughts about her every day. I'm not going to lie, but since meditation and things like that have happened, I've been much more present throughout the day too. Is it possible to not think about them at all, or is that the place we're supposed to get to? Man, my apologies. Phone alarm. Anyway, so that's just kind of my point with that. I'm going to be thinking about her for a while, man. She had a huge impact on my life, and I believe that's only natural. So that's going to spill over into my last topic. Semen retention, day number 1. Oh. What happened, Kevin? Well, let me tell you. So I've been doing meditating, as everybody knows, and been having some excellent visualizations. And I think you can kind of see where I'm going with this already. Yesterday, I had read a twin flame manual. It was online, and they brought up the topic of sex, but obviously from an energetic perspective. So they had talked about the beauty of it. They had talked about what the man can do, what the woman can do. Like it was very detailed. And I've been doing semen retention now, I think, a month, if not 2 months. I have not had sex with any women since I've broken up with her. So I'm laying all the cards out here and just being real with you guys. And this has been 4 months ago. So after reading that, I had just kind of made a little deal with myself, and I wanted to try it out. So again, with the meditations and the visualizations, I took the advice of what I was reading and, you know, laid there and began to visualize her. It was one of the single most, and this is going to sound odd as hell because it's hard to kind of talk about, but it was one of the single most romantic things I've ever had happen. It was surreal. The energy, it felt like she was there. I even smoked a cigarette. No, I'm kidding. I was going to say I smoked a cigarette afterwards, but when it was over, was in the single most relaxed state I think I've been in a long time, and it still felt like she was there, with the exception, and I'm kind of tearing up here a little bit, that I always loved to touch her. Like that was always my thing. But other than that, it was amazing. It really was. So I don't know, I felt compelled to talk about that because I've been talking about what I've been doing and things like that, and this is a journey for me just like it is for all you guys, and I'm human, you're human. Although we're talking about a 5D energetic thing, and I got an incredibly good experience as to what that entails, but it's not a practice I'm certainly going to abuse. I'm going to be back in the saddle with semen retention, because I've found it to have some amazing benefits as far as just feels like my creativity, my drive, my ambition. I don't look at porn. I don't do any of that crap. Again, just another discipline of mine. So I just thought I would share that with the community and talk about that. And if anybody wants to look that up, be my guest. Yeah, so I don't know. The other part of that is, and I've wondered, is it looping? And I don't. If I'm visualizing her in meditations when it's not having anything to do with anything sexual, then I don't see how that could be different. And the tantric experience, as far as I know, is a very real thing if you're kind of able to get into that energy. So I'm a little confused by it. I'm not real sure at this point in time. I just know that it was an incredible experience. One I do not take lightly, one I'm incredibly appreciative of, and who knows, if our paths ever cross again, maybe I can have her on camera and maybe ask if she ever was able to sense or feel anything like that as well. So this is Kevin, this is the Wagon Wheel of Wisdom, and I'm signing off. Love you guys.